So I've actually been sitting here for the last like 5 hours trying to make this video, and I've just been cutting and changing around audio cues until I eventually figured out that I just should delete it all and start again. I mean, I do this in a very genuine way here in one cut, and I'm not gonna try to beat around the bush here, and I'm just gonna get straight to my feelings about how I feel about everything. I've been doing it, as I said, for the last 5 hours, so it's pretty easy for me to get to what I want to talk about. The first thing I want to talk about is my channel. I just want to go over real quick why I'm not making any content, and that's quite frankly player retention, which is going to be the theme of the video. Player retention in Fortnite is absolutely terrible. So if you don't know what player retention is, I'm talking about why should I come back to the game, what is retaining me inside the environment. Quite frankly, nothing is appealing in Fortnite right now to me, and I'm sure a lot of people also feel this way. I mean, I run a Fortnite community in Discord, and pretty much everyone in there is just frankly done with the game. No one cares anymore. And that's not because the game isn't fun or anything, but because there's no reason for us to come back. It's like, Fortnite at the moment is, its only fun exists in its story. And I've had a lot of people that have come into the channel and actually they're new to the game, or they're getting back into the game, and they just don't like the story, and they actually have no fun with the game at all because the story is the only thing holding it up. They don't think the characters are funny or anything, and the jokes don't land on them, so they don't have fun at all. And that, I'm sure, is more common than I have encountered. It's probably a minority, but it's still a part of the community that you have to acknowledge as just a truth, that the game's story is the only thing holding it up, and it needs to start focusing on, as I said, player retention. Most of the missions in the game aren't fun. They're poorly optimized. There's plenty of bugs in the game that go unfixed for months. I'm on the personal belief that Epic needs to get on their knees to their managers and their directors and start begging for more staff members, because I think they're understaffed to all hell. It took them like 8 months to make this hero loadout system. It's a great system, and grats to them. It is a great system. I'm not actually going to talk about this in this video. Originally, this was going to be a video on the hero loadout system, but I think I'm only going to briefly go over it on the end of my overall thoughts. But ultimately, this video is just going to be about my feelings, my ramblings, and I just don't understand what Epic is doing. I can't tell if they genuinely care anymore. Magus so I'm talking about the community manager on Reddit, he does an amazing job. He's a very passionate individual about the game, and I can tell that he cares for the game, but he's the only one that actually seems to be doing anything and engaging in the community. The AMA is a good example of this. Like, sure, I like the AMA, I like those different people actually answering, but there's no personality from these other people. And I just can't help but think Magus was the one that convinced them to just sit down and answer a few questions. Like, it shouldn't be a thing. Their dev team shouldn't be shielded from their community as much as there are. Like, sure, words hurt and all that, and I'm sure it takes a toll on their work ethic and stuff like that, but they need to realize that we are people too, and we want a game that's actually fun to play, and quite frankly, the game isn't fun to play for the majority of the time anyway. Like Act 1, 2, and 3, so I'm talking about Stonewood, Plankton, and Canny Valley, they're all really fun, and the story is great, as characters are great, but as I said, there's the minority that thinks that these characters are not fun, so what does that leave them? The missions that are not fun. The abilities now, they're kind of fun, although I haven't made a new account or anything, so I don't know how the leveling process is for that now. If someone is starting out in the game and they're dealing with the hero loadout, definitely leave a comment, tell us what your experience is now that you are dealing with this system that they've basically changed or upset the quota completely on its head. If the new hero loadout is actually fun to level up through Stonewood, Plankton, and Canny. But it's all to do with Twine. Everyone, I'd say about 90% of the player base is in Twine. I don't actually have the statistic, but basically everyone is in Twine now, because how easy they've made it to progress through the game. I think it's good that they've made it easy, but everyone's in Twine now, and there's still no end game to speak of. Quite honestly, I don't think there's end game on the horizon. I don't know why. Why are they not working on an end game? I'm drawing a loss here, because an end game in an online game, especially an online game, and especially a looter shooter, is incredibly important. Like, you look towards a game like Warframe that actually has players constantly coming back to it. it's not like the amount of polish and the amount of care and passion that they put into that game. It's so obvious to everyone who plays the game and anyone that actually cares. It's out there in the open, and why can't Fortnite be like this? I just feel like there's this like wall between the community and the developers. Magus doesn't want to break down, or whoever it is, they don't want to break down, they don't want to open up. Why aren't there dev videos? Like, just simple things like that. I think they should look towards dev streams possibly. I don't know, just something to give more personality to their dev team, something that actually shows that they care. There definitely needs to be more people though. The quality assurance, as I said, is terrible. Just every update there's more and more bugs added. Bugs go unfinished for months and months at a time. Xbox is unplayable. I don't even play on Xbox, but still, that's a huge portion of your player base, especially with crossplay enabled. They just can't play the game or don't care anymore. PC, like, there's so many bugs, and all this goes on all the platforms, but you know what I'm saying. Just every bug and every poor optimization is just more and more players that you're taking out of your pool and just sitting on the side that probably won't come back. And it's just like, why do you not want your players coming back? And it should be a question that they should honestly answer. Why aren't they coming back, their players? Because that is honestly a good question, because they aren't fixing this bug, so this is the only question that honestly is relevant. Do you not care about your players anymore? It's just as simple as that. They keep making new content at such a slow pace. They keep bug fixing at such a slow pace. It's just, I don't understand anymore. But I do want to talk about the hero loadout right now. I like the hero loadout. I like that each character has a personality now. So, you know, it actually feels like these characters are actually characters that have each individual lives that fit into this tapestry of a weird story. But anyway, you know what I'm trying to say. But ultimately, it just comes down to this other thing where it's just like, you're adding more and more things for us to play, but play where? There's nothing to play. Like, I could sit in the game for hours and look at different loadouts and flick around and level up my heroes, but what am I going to play them in? Just more missions that give me more XP that I either don't want to spend or just can't spend, full stop. It's like, they've created the ceiling in the game that just shouldn't exist, and they're shortening that ceiling. They're lowering it by making the game even easier and easier and easier, and they're just lowering the ceiling, lowering the floor, and they're just squishing the players in between in this environment that doesn't make sense. And I don't know what they're doing. It's as simple as that. I was sitting here for a moment thinking about what to say. I was trying to think about if there was anything else I wanted to say before I ended the video here. And yeah, I actually did forget about one thing, and that's the new mission types. So I went over the patch notes where I was theoretically drafting a video, and I was reading through patch notes, and most of it's just the hero changes, but it's also the new beta store mission, the search and destroy mission. So that's a beta store mission where that's a testing ground for testing new content and stuff, and I just don't understand what they're doing. Like, what are they doing making a new mission? They're so focused on adding a new mission type. I don't understand why. There are so many mission types in the game, and all of them are just absolutely boring. Sure, some are better than others, some are fun. I'm not talking about in general, like, deliver the bomb, repair the shelter, sure, they're fun, but they're not actually, sorry, what's the word for it? I'm not articulating my point here very well. It's not that they're not fun, but they're not fleshed out enough. Like, there are games where one mission type would be the entire game, and people would play that game for hours, like hundreds of hours, and not have a problem with it. But if you told me to play Repair the Shelter for hundreds of hours, I am not playing it for the game mode, I'm playing it for the rewards. And I think that's a very dangerous mindset that Epic is getting themselves into, and they don't understand. They're making these new mission types where they don't realize people aren't playing these mission types because they're fun. They're playing it for the rewards. Like, I personally, I don't like any of the mission types for them itself, besides maybe encampments. I'd maybe considering playing that with no regard to reward, but it's just like one of these things where I don't understand why they can't focusing on adding more individuality to these missions. They removed the blue glow siphons, just like certain things that happen in the missions, they're just removing them. I don't understand why. They should be adding more nuance to missions rather than adding more boring missions that are just going to sit on the side. Like, a good example of this that I brought up was Refuel the Home Base. They added that a few months ago when they removed blue glow siphons. and no one plays that mission, so why is it still in the game? It's boring. The rewards are terrible, absolutely terrible. Like, it's just those two core concepts that I don't think as game developers they're considering. Is the game fun? Is it rewarding? These two questions are the two core concepts which should drive every single one of their decisions, and they're not for some reason. They're just making stuff randomly. I feel like, I know that they are listening because they are making content in line with our demands, but they're not making the content as game developers. They're just blindly following as sheep, and I just don't understand why. I think it's something wrong with their directors, but ultimately who can say. But as for the hero loadout, power drop, most of my builds that I played before that I found fun are no longer fun. Going commando feels absolutely terrible. MGR before, spam grenades, feels exactly the same, but now I can play it on anyone I want. You know, stuff like that. There are actual heroes where you don't even get the upgraded hero ability, which I don't understand. So after 2 stars or whatever, you get an increased percentage of that hero ability skill in the commander slot. Pretty much like half the heroes you don't even get the advertised amount of stats. It's just like, okay, sure, thanks game for not doing what you told me you would do. And it's just another example of quality assurance just slipping by. So yeah, overall my thoughts: I want a search functionality in the game. I don't understand why they're making more boring missions, that they should honestly be adding an end game instead. Like, an end game is much more important than a search and destroy mission. Like, come on. New enemy types, if you wanted to do something new, like, instead of doing a new mission, just do a new enemy type. It takes much less effort, and you can remove it if it doesn't work. It's like so much easier. Like, especially mist monsters. There've been no new mist monsters since the game came out. They added the shielder and the what are you called, gunslinger dude, and it's like, whew, why? There's no mist monsters, there's no uniqueness to the game anymore. It just feels soulless. So yeah, I play Fortnite like once a week now, maybe like 1 or 2 hours a day. I don't see the appeal of the game anymore. I'll try to make videos where I can. Like, I haven't forgotten about it. Like, as I said, I'm an Ultimate Edition founder. I spent a lot of money on this game, so I try to see the upside where I can. But, like, I just don't see the appeal of the game anymore, and that frankly scares me. I don't want to be rude to the game developers because I know they're trying, but I just think they're incompetent. I think it's as simple as that. I just think they're incompetent. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. That'll be it for this video. I'll probably edit out some of the silences, and yeah, those are my overall thoughts. If you have any suggestions for the channel, feel free to ask or say anything. If you want me to play with you, I'll even consider that, but like, I don't know what to do anymore. Don't know what to play. I'm just kind of sitting there. Feel free to add me if you want. Put my username on screen, but I don't know how I feel about these things anymore. And that'll be it for me. Ragnarok, over and out.